Yeah, I'm one of the people on Parks and Recreation Committee.
Well, actually not the committee, but we're a nonprofit for Parks and Rec, and my name is Vivian Pena. I belong to him.
Yes. And he belongs to you.
That's right. That's the way it works.
Okay.
I'm Andrew. I'm from this town. I graduated in 2005, and I've lived kind of in the Hillsborough area ever since. And kind of an avid user of that skate park, and I guess I'd like to see it get some respiratory.
And also during hometown days, you also had a group of giveaway skateboards and stuff, right?
Yeah. Typically, I would just do it on my own, throw a barbecue, invite whoever comes, give kids prizes. That's about it. And then last year, I was approached by the hometown days to get involved. So I did that last year, and it went well. A few months ago, I received an email about it, and I kind of let them know that I wasn't interested in pursuing it this year just because of the condition of the concrete. So I guess that's where we stand.
Okay, thank you. jbuckles, volunteer.
Jake, I'm Public Works and Parks guy.
My name's Kenny. I'm the Public Works Maintenance Supervisor.
Omega.
Okay, yes.
Nice to meet you all.
Okay. Are you taking the notes for the group? Is that right, Omega?
I'm taking notes for Heidi.
Oh, for Heidi.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And is she?
Well, she's not here, so I guess we
And
can
then
start.
Gay hiding in the back.
Oh, that's right. Gay is part of the.
Hello, Gay. She's another member of our nonprofit, and she will be the head of the community garden.
Okay. Cool.
Important member.
Yeah. Well, because I had scribbled notes, which was members, and are we thinking that we would meet once a month, or maybe we'll talk about that later?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what is our goal here? Our goal is what? To get the skate park resurfaced.
would be a cost-effective short-term goal.
Okay.
But I guess it depends on where the city is kind of, what avenue they're looking to see in the future of the skate park. Like, is there tentative plans to have it removed or closed down?
No.
Okay. So, in the condition it's in, I guess the goal would be to have it resurfaced.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So until Heidi, Kenny, do you know, I know the city is leaning maybe towards having a local concrete contractor maybe do this.
Yep.
So I do know, can you explain the city's process? They have to have 3 quotes. Is that your understanding too? From go out and get 3 quotes from?
If it's a prevailing wage job and it's over a certain amount, and I think the amount on a prevailing wage job, don't quote me, but I think it's $50,000.
Okay.
On a regular, like for a contractor to come and replace like a panel, if the job is under $500, you don't have to bid it.
Okay.
If it's over that or a prevailing wage job, then you have to get 3 bids from licensed contractors.
Okay. So I don't know if, it'd probably be over 500 at least.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, yes, yes, man.
But you, from the general understanding, Andrew, right, or Drew, is that you think that they're recommending like an eighth, or how much of a concrete?
I guess not having a professional point of view here,
Okay.
where if it was me, I would buy MAPE or Quikrete recap and do it myself. And that'd be like the volunteer route. But I don't, that's not exactly feasible.
Well,
I feel
okay.
like raising money to have a professional group do the resurface is the way to go.
Okay.
And with that being, you know, on paper it says that park's 10,000 square feet. I don't buy that. I want to say what's usable is probably maybe 6,000.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what the square footage is around.
Yeah, because we went over there and looked at it today, and what Drew is saying is that one portion over to the left where used to be bleachers and a building, no. It would be just the usable space there for where people skate, and not that concrete over there or anything else. So if we, you know, got the actual usable space and did that as a resurface, that would also, you know, be maybe more cost effective. And truthfully, don't need kids skating over to where, you know, the concrete is, you know,
Right.
the bleachers and stuff, yeah, so.
I just wouldn't know how a professional concrete outfit would go about it. I don't know what products they would use. I've just used what I could purchase from where I work at Home Depot. So I know that route is the unprofessional route. So I don't really have a ballpark idea what it would cost to have a professional outfit do it.
Is this not a part of the city's budget to fix it?
No,
It would be under the general budget. So all the parks, everything like that is under the general budget.
Okay, so.
There's but anything that is approved, like we can, you guys can propose. We would need this amount to have the skate park to be updated or whatever, and then you guys can present that and propose that to the budget committee. The budget committee would then approve or disapprove or rearrange something, and all of that would go to city council, and the city council will then approve the proposed budget. So there's levels of that will have to go before a certain amount can be allocated to a certain park or a certain a spot that needs to be taken care of.
So it'd be nice if we could get an agreement with, you know, how much we raise, they, you know, they can either cover the rest or they can go ahead and match it. I think that would be a better proposal for them, a consideration, rather than, hey, cough up the whole amount. You know what I mean? When you say resurface, do they have to like tear away any of the original concrete or whatever it is that is on the surface of it, and then they'd have to repave it or whatever? You can tell I have zero understanding of how this works, but is that probably what the contractor would do, is take some of it off and then resurface?
You know, he's more familiar with that
okay.
process than I am.
I would say no, because
okay.
in the state that concrete is in, there's a term called exposed aggregate. So basically the meat, the muscle and meat of that structure of the concrete is already exposed. It's been weathered since, it's been being rained on year in, year out since '97. So that fine, smooth, protectant layer of the concrete is gone. So you can almost notice it's almost like pea gravel exposed.
Yeah.
And so if someone was to take, say, a planetary grinder or something to it to smooth it out,
Yeah, I get it.
it would rip out the aggregate, which is exposed.
Right.
So pretty much the only way would be to have a resurfacing product compound spread over it nicely and smoothed out.
Yeah.
And so that's the only fix. the only
And
way
would
to
we
go
assume
about
it would be cement or would it be some other potential product that
Yeah.
could be less expensive?
Exactly. Anything that would leave it with a smooth surface, but tearing away from what's there is not the way to go.
Yeah,
It
that
would
makes sense.
it would make the problem worse.
So then, as far as resurfacing, I know you see a lot of commercials about garage resurfacing flooring.
Yeah.
Are we talking something similar to that?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh,
because
okay.
I know there's a lot of stuff that you see advertised for resurfacing garages and stuff like that, and it's very durable stuff. So
Exactly.
this is the kind of stuff you're talking possibly might be used for the resurfacing.
Yes. And
Okay.
I mean, if it was me and a volunteer group, that's the route we would go easy.
Yeah.
Because I've done it before. It works out well. They got some of these have a shelf life of 20+ years.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, I'm not a professional.
Right.
I'm not a concrete worker. I don't know. I'm sure they have tricks up their sleeve that would be a way better option.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think makes sense with that type of resurfacing. The other question I had was, as far as how much, because I know from what I remember from the skate park over there is that there are some areas where the ground is, it's just caved out, and there's just a lot of bad areas. So are you just going to be refilling those areas and then replace any concrete that needs to be replaced? And then, of course, we're also talking about a safety wall, because I know they used to have a bar handle, for people so they don't fall off on that far end where that real bad area is at, they used
And
to
that's
have
eroded, so.
you need to have I don't know.
Do you
what
mean
might
up
call
here?
it, a hand bar.
There is a bar up
Right,
there.
on,
There.
Oh, look at the
on
picture.
the back
Yeah.
side.
So that's still there. The opposite side, that one is still there.
Yeah,
On the opposite end,
right.
Yes, it's actually on this end.
But the embankment
Yeah.
goes up
It's
pretty
the
high,
opposite end
they're
of
dirt, so it's not like a major drop off, it's only, I don't know about this much of a drop off, cause the dirt comes up pretty high.
So that's a funny photo. That's really
I know, isn't it great?
That's the
That's
the
the-
storage shed
And the bleachers that used to
and
be
that
there.
foundation is still
Oh.
there. So that foundation of that storage shed they are counting that as square
Yeah.
footage of the park. That's not part of the park.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
And the other question I have is you're planning on keeping the skate park the same size? You're not,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be extended anything, it's not gonna be added anything else to?
No.
Okay, all right.
I guess my thought is the number one priority is the central area
Right.
between the two ramps. The sidewalks on the outside, the walk-up path, that foundation, that's not 100% necessary to resurface.
Right,
Right.
It's kind of just
sure.
like a viewer's spot or like a walking path. And I'm not, and you're right, that sidewalk on that back end is so dilapidated. Every time I see it, it looks like it sank another inch. And that's, in my opinion, that's not priority to fix either. I'm sure it would look better if it was fixed, but at the same rate, I'm thinking more functionality for the skateboard.
I have a question on that. So if this side portion is not just for safety reasons, like if you're walking on it, like you could trip on that and then the city automatically would get some sort of a potential liability for that. Because that if they're using the path as a walking space and the walking space is not up to date and they get hurt, then they can potentially be a liability to the city. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and
So I would recommend, I think Heidi would too, that if we're going to be looking for codes, we should also be looking for those, including those sections too.
And if the effort's going to be put forth to fix any of it, let's just fix all of it.
Mhm.
It would. I mean, aesthetically, it would look better. It would be more welcoming.
Is
I mean-
there a way that we can fix it in phases? Or would it just be, it would be more costly if we resurface it?
It just depends, you know, and if somebody local that does concrete was to be hired to do this and they bid, you know, chances are they want the better for the community too. They would probably, I would hope, maybe just charge for material and donate labor or something, or to work with the group to get it done. But yeah, that's a great point. If the effort's going to be put forth to fix any of it, let's just fix all of it.
And then my next question would be actually for you, Kenny. I'm just thinking out loud. Would there be some sort of pushback, or would you know if there was any pushback on volunteer work handling concrete in the park? Or is that more of a Tyler question?
That'd probably be a Tyler and Heidi question.
Okay.
In email, Heidi and I had discussed possibly setting a date or a weekend to close the park and having a volunteer group assembled to do the work. And I feel that idea was slightly pushed aside just because a volunteer group isn't, you know, they're not licensed, not insured.
Right,
It really comes back to like insurance and stuff.
Yeah.
Like we need to have some sort of
100%.
commercial grade type of building. That's how we kind of stumbled back on one of the donated parks equipment. I guess that answers my question. Okay.
I got a question. Years ago, I bought an enclosed car trailer, and the inside wasn't finished. And somebody recommended a product to me that Sheridan Williams carries, and it's a 2-part epoxy paint. And I took their advice, and I went and got the materials from Sheridan Williams, and this has been 25 years ago now. And I remember it was very expensive, but fast forwarding 25 years, my 2 boys have that trailer today, and I've never had to repaint that.
Yeah.
It's had all kinds of motorcycles, ATVs, Jeeps, drag cars. It's had everything in that thing. So I've just wondered if a product like that would work on the skate park if we were to have a concrete professional fill in all the voids, and then we would come back over it,
Paint the whole thing.
when it's dry and completely clean. Have you ever seen that at skate parks?
I have. The Lincoln City Park is a good example. It had been there since the 90s, and they resurfaced it. Completely. I want to say they used a product called Granny Rapid. And so that concrete wasn't in as bad a shape as Sheridan's. So they grinded down a small layer and then added this Granny Rapid product. And it's not a Sherwin-Williams product, it's by a company called Mabe. And I would assume it's pretty similar to the same thing. What was the floor of the trailer made of?
Plywood.
Plywood, okay, yeah, so.
And they recommend giving it 2 coats, and it goes on thick. You know, it's almost like like when you're done, it's like
waxy?
when you'd walk on it, you'd feel like, man, this is kind of, it's thick.
Yeah.
Kenny, is it waxy?
What's that?
Is the surface waxy?
Waxy.
Yeah, like
waxy.
Oh,
wax.
it was just smooth as smooth, just smooth as this
It's
countertop.
epoxy based, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so.
I didn't know if that would be too slick, if it got wet, if kids were out there.
I guess I just I'm not familiar with that specific product. But also the fact that it bonds to wood, that's a whole different
Right, that's true.
So the two products that I've used on concrete similar, one's called Recap from Quickcrete, and there's another one I've used, that's that Granny Rabbit. And I'm only familiar with it because at work I do little patch jobs outside or whatever. And it's basically the same thing. It's, you do 2 layers, you do just like 1/8 of an inch. Well, first of all, pressure wash. That's a big thing, is pressure washing the concrete.
Right.
Get it nice, clean, moss, dirt, debris, clear it, dry it, apply your first coat, smooth it out. Then your second one, you would do another tiny layer and just like, with like a squeegee, finish it out. And it just leaves like a beautiful finish.
A mirror glass finish, huh?
Yeah, and it just,
What's the temperature it has to be at, you know, for daytime temperature to dry?
I'm sure anything that's not sub-freezing and rain would be
Okay.
fine. I'm sure
Okay.
just air
Okay.
on it would, I don't think temperature's a big factor. But then again, it might be something to look into.
Right.
So how do we go about getting 3 bids? Is that something, Kenny, that the city would do?
Yeah.
Okay,
I can take
so
care
it
of
would
that.
be, I think it'd be helpful for us to kind of know the ballpark of what this is gonna cost. And then, I'm sure we're also here to talk about ways to raise the money. Sounds like you've got some ideas, and,
Do you have ideas? How do you fundraise in this case?
I think fundraising is really hard to do around here, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, because the income, again, we know
We've got the bingo nights
Yes,
and, you know,
yeah.
stuff like that.
Grant.
Grants, of course, yeah, those are important, and that's certainly something that the nonprofit can do, is approach a few different avenues that we've used in the past to help raise some money for that.
But since this is kid-based, do you think we have a better chance because it is
Absolutely,
for the kids?
absolutely, yes.
So target certain, create certain events that target that demographic.
Well, and I thought we mentioned hometown days. I mean, maybe we could set up something there.
The horseshoe, we can set up a horseshoe tournament.
The horseshoe
and all the
tournament,
fundraising
all of
goes
those
to-
things is a fundraiser. We've never found it to be an extremely high volume fundraiser
But
for
if-
us, but
But if we market it as this money
Exactly.
goes to the skate park,
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll have a lot of appeal
Okay.
from a fundraising perspective. And I think
Okay.
you were thinking about a GoFundMe or something.
Yeah, and I had done one in the past.
Okay.
I don't know, I would say a decade ago. I had done one, and I had raised, just myself, through word of mouth and through social media, I had raised right around $1,000. And I kind of was ignored bringing it up. And so all that money was refunded to people who donated.
Oh.
And the reason I bring up a GoFundMe is just I feel like if I spread that around and got a lot of people involved, I could probably raise a good amount of money.
Sure, and again, because of the appeal of the skate park for kids, I think that has a lot of interest
Yeah.
for
And-
people.
Yeah, so in GoFundMe, is there a tax deduction with that?
Well, there's a thing, there's an individual and then
Uh-huh.
there's nonprofit. That's
Okay.
why I was talking to Heidi when she kind of mentioned this. I was like, we have the friends and they're nonprofit. And this is a kind of work that, from what I understand, is something you guys want to get slightly more involved with.
Oh, of course.
Is that if an individual person were to do a GoFundMe, whenever you swipe that card or enter the card, there's a service fee attached to it. It's
Okay.
roughly like around between 5 to, it's a certain percentage.
I was thinking it was like 8%.
Yeah, it's really high percentage. So if you want to raise $100, you're gonna be short.
Right.
But if a nonprofit does the GoFundMe, the percentage is much shorter.
Right.
Significantly short.
And people can
and
get
there
tax
is-
deductions,
And then
right?
there's tax deductions that
Yeah.
goes with it because of, donations. So that's why I thought of you guys.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty good friends with the guy in McMinnville who runs Tommy's Bike Shop,
Oh, yeah.
and they just started like a little skateboard section, and the guy that runs that I'm good friends with, and they both have already told me that they're behind it and they're willing to donate today. I mean, I guess between here and where I live, I know a lot of people in the skateboard world that would be willing to see the Sheridan Park get some much needed love.
So can I make a suggestion on getting the 3 quotes, bring them back to this group, and then create a GoFundMe with this amount of money? And then have that proposal also be given to the budget.
Isn't it better to go through, if you do a GoFundMe, can you still use the Friends of the Park?
Yes.
Yes, and it'd be nice to have a goal, so
Yeah.
to your
Okay.
point,
Okay,
if we have an idea, a ballpark area of how much needs to be raised,
right,
we wanna try to get at least to the halfway mark, so we would set a goal and GoFundMe to do that, and I think that, again, has a better appeal because everybody knows there's a top part to it. It's not just open-ended, so.
And then you would propose the other half to the city,
right,
or events or
Right.
grants.
right.
So that is one way. That way you're tackling all these different pockets
Right.
to get that funding.
Okay, so if I heard you right, you're saying first, get the quotes from the city.
Yeah.
To get a ballpark.
Yep.
And then second is set up the GoFundMe.
GoFundMe.
Yeah, so is the action then Kenny looking for quotes, right? So whose action is the GoFundMe thing?
That would be our team,
Okay,
with your help. Sounds like you.
Absolutely. I
You're
would-
good.
Vivian and Drew,
Yeah.
okay.
One thing I wanted to bring up also is, with getting 3 bids with locals or anybody interested, like I feel that quality should definitely be #1 priority. Going a cheaper route with maybe somebody that's just not as credible or etc. It wouldn't benefit the park as much as having somebody
Absolutely.
that was willing to really get this done well.
Fortunately, I know several people that are residents here in Sheridan that are concrete contractors,
Yeah,
and the city's used one of them several times, and I don't think it will have. I think the success of having someone do some volunteering for the city and the project is very likely.
Okay,
yeah,
I've got a good feeling about that.
well, good,
and again,
good.
you can mention to them, the Friends, again, are a nonprofit, and they would help with any tax deductions, right?
Yes.
That could be a way for them to do it. They can get tax deducted if they
I
donate
think
their
that,
time
again, as
or
a
material.
business, they don't mind, and the other thing is, we can put a placard here that says, this concrete was done by so-and-so, and it's good,
Yes.
advertisement for that local business.
Yeah, in the past, when we've gone to get certain items for businesses to put up for, the bingo night so they can bid on it and stuff, we've always given them our tax ID, so that they can, deduct it from their business. So, yeah, it works well.
So I think the next time we come around and talk about the GoFundMe limit, the goal,
Yes.
we should talk about, you guys should really focus on what sort of outreach you're gonna be doing with this GoFundMe and other events and grants to tackle.
Right.
Yeah, because they could look around to other nonprofits that have grants
Yeah,
and see. I know First Federal would probably be.
absolutely.
So I would take that action, look for grants.
Okay.
And, there's one more thing, when we were over there today, at the park, the, discussion was about public art, like people painting or murals, you could actually do paint on the skate park. Is that something you guys would think that is a good idea too, or whatever?
Originally, that's what, we were gonna do,
Okay.
was let basically the kids,
Oh, yeah.
do murals.
Uh-huh.
And somebody's been down there doing some painting. I haven't seen the individual or
Hopefully
people.
it's not graffiti.
There is
Yeah,
graffiti,
exactly.
yes, there's
Ouch.
graffiti. There's graffiti, yes.
It would just be hard to regulate what's tasteful and what's not.
Right.
Because, you could get a group to do something beautiful for a day, and 6 hours later at night, you'll have a kid with a can of spray paint come and just.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of a harder thing to regulate, but at the same time, colors are prettier than
Yeah.
exposed
Yeah,
aggregate.
yes.
So,
I think that, I'm putting that down on the list of things to keep still as possible, is some kind of, even if it's, again, I could ask the Sheridan Revitalization Group, because they're researching murals and stuff, would they consider adding the skate park area as part of, on their mural list, if the city approved that? Said, yes, go ahead, put a mural up or whatever, so.
Quick question is about with the skate park area, as far as, people who are just spectators, there's no place to sit down over there. I don't know if there's locations where they can be, benches be put where, they can sit out of the way to where it's not interfering with the skaters and still be able to sit down and just, visit and watch them. Because, Forest River has made us some benches in the past, and I'm gonna be talking to Jim Hebert again, about possibly getting some more benches made. And it sounds like he might be able to, but I'm gonna follow up with him on that. So if we can get more benches made, then, we might be able to place some benches in the area. I think that'd be a good idea to have some,
Well,
It's a
there's
great
that
idea.
platform already there, so we can just put those benches on the same platform.
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
definitely more welcoming.
And it's,
Yes.
again, think about the benches with the armrest in the middle. The reason why I say this is
exactly.
so people don't sleep there.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you have the armrest in the middle, no, unfortunately, we gotta think a little about that. So, but the ones with the armrest in the middle, it's extremely hard to lay down and sleep.
well, that,
Yeah.
when I talk to Jim Hebert, I'll make sure that the next set of benches that they make, that
Yeah.
make sure it has that armrest. in the
Yeah, it's just, again, we don't mind folks, hanging out. We want people in the park, but
middle. Right.
we don't
Okay.
want them to
But
stay.
anyway, that's, just something I wanted to throw out, so
Yeah.
we might be thinking about maybe possibly
Okay,
benches
benches.
in that area.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
If the project goes through and that park is resurfaced, it would bring new life to that whole area.
Yes.
When that was new, I recall seeing people from Salem there. I would meet people from the coast that would drive to ride it. Like, it would really, I don't know, it would just bring new life to that park. It needs it. It needs something. It is.
well, and kids need to have some activity, because, there's basketball there. Sure, I've seen a few people play basketball, but truthfully, kids just wanna get on something and go back and
It's
forth.
probably the most popular
Yeah.
thing that kids use to this day in the
Uh-huh.
park. Every time you go there, you see kids in that skate park. So.
Well, and I'd rather see them there in the park instead of on sidewalks and
Exactly.
stuff, and out in the street or
That's
things
right.
like that.
Absolutely.
All right, so when are you guys meeting next time?
What's-
Tell Heidi.
Yeah, is it okay to shoot for next month again?
We can certainly,
Cause
you
we
know,
need
just to
kinda
see the
time for the
progress.
quotes, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, is it feasible that we might have some back in a month's time,
Yep.
Kenny?
I'll
Oh,
jump.
that would be awesome, yeah, let's
Oh,
do
Heidi
that.
says hi.
Hi. Okay, let's look at our calendars then for
Absolutely.
March. And is this, Friday a good day for folks?
It is for me, yeah.
Omega, is Fridays good days? Tell us what day we can't come in and on a
Well,
Friday.
Heidi won't be here at all on the last week of March.
I was gonna
Okay.
say, I'm gonna be gone a couple days, the last week in March.
It
We
is
should-
March
Spring break with my
15th.
grandkids, so.
Or I was thinking the 22nd too, since we're here at the 23rd, that's almost exactly a month from now.
That'd be a good day.
That'd
Okay,
be Friday the
Me and
22nd.
is that okay with
Yeah.
you?
Okay,
22nd.
22nd of March, 1 o'clock again?
yeah, I think so, that would
Okay,
work.
next meeting, 22nd of March, at 1.
1 o'clock?
1 o'clock.
All right, I'll send a link to you guys and.
Okay, and just to recoup again, that action items, quotes, Kenny, GoFundMe, Vivian, Paul, and Drew.
Yep.
Kay will look at, grant possibilities and stuff like that. Any other actions that we talked about?
What about if we ask our local business owners of grocery stores and stuff, if they would be willing to make a donation?
Yeah.
I know the IGA has in the past years, they've donated stuff, you know, different events and whatnot.
Yeah, they helped us with hometown days and
Yeah,
other events, giving us product or whatever, so,
Wouldn't hurt at all. The building products right here too. They
yeah,
last year they donated paint to help me and a friend build a
Yes.
ramp that we had down there.
I can approach Rotary, Brad is part of that group, and see if he
yeah, we've
versus.
got a lot of generous
Okay.
business owners in this
Yeah.
area.
I don't mind tackling.
Should we wait until we have the quote though? Before we start asking,
Yeah, maybe we should wait on that aspect for the businesses, but I agree that that's on we can put that as a down on our list.
yeah,
usually.
or be part of our fundraising.
Yes. Endeavors.
Yeah.
Besides, somebody mentioned hometown days, right?
Right, so when we get together next month, we'll talk about some of the ways that we can reach out to the businesses in this
Yes.
area. Ross and McMinnville's always been very supportive of our group. So even some of the local, businesses in McMinnville are another possibility. And sounds like you've got some good people that that, once they're given the word, we've got a GoFundMe, I think they'd be right on top of it.
Even just individuals, friends of mine, people I've known.
Does anyone have any contact with Willamina?
Oh yeah, Willamina, we've definitely gone there, we've used that IGA, and then there's the, what's that hardware store that's in there? That's another really great place in Willamina, so.
Okay.
Hampton Lumber too. They're
Yep,
very
yeah.
instrumental in kids.
Absolutely.
And sports and.
Okay. So maybe next meeting we'll brainstorm a list and
yes.
Reach out and
reach out. We'll
at least have
have
the
to.
same everybody
Yeah.
have the same language. We're trying to
Yes.
reach this much, we need this, this, and this.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And then we'll split up the names of lists to hand out and see what people will do what. So, yeah. Okay. We're good to go.
Thank you guys for your time.
No, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.